Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we are tackling what has to be the most aggressively unusual stack of sources we have ever seen.
I mean, it's all over the place.
Right. We've got global governance reports, high-stakes legal guides, personal motivation manifestos, and I'm not kidding, a full professional tarot reading.
It is a phenomenal, chaotic mix. But our mission today is, I think, exceptionally clear. We're trying to synthesize these, wildly different elements.
From the very personal.
Exactly. From the personal pursuit of success and desire, all the way to the impersonal machinery of digital government and law.
And the goal is to pull out the universal principles.
The principles of maximizing impact, efficiency, and just clarity of what you want.
Okay, let's try to unpack this. Because the common thread that links, say, wanting a multi-million-dollar handbag with making a national customs system more efficient, it isn't just success.
No, it's something more fundamental.
It's the relentless, systematic pursuit of value. That's what it is.
That's the key.
Whether that value is cash or better government services or even a real human connection, everyone in these sources is just trying to find the most direct path to get what they want.
And maximizing that impact always seems to require two things. First, you need this audacious, almost uncompromising vision of the outcome.
And second,
meticulous, cold, data-driven planning to actually make it happen. We need to see how that personal intensity applies to the big, complex world.
Okay, let's start with that personal side. Section 1, the blueprint for unwavering success, or as one source calls it, the formula for getting what you want.
And it starts with something really simple.
Explicit, unapologetic desire. You have to know exactly what you want, down to the tiniest details. A castle, specific color of a handbag, the chandelier for your future entryway. You can't hold back in the fantasy.
And this is where we get into this philosophy of the delusional mindset.
Right.
And the source material doesn't use delusion as a bad thing. It's reframed. They say to be hyper-realistic about your unrealistic fantasies.
I love that phrase.
And they state it flat out. Delusional is the only way to get delusional things.
It sounds like a contradiction, but then you see the examples and it clicks. We read that story of the Postmates delivery driver, who was completely broke, drives up to the nicest, most exclusive building in LA, and tells the doorman, "I'm gonna live here."
And he basically escorted her away.
Of course.
Yeah.
But she lives there now. Or the other person who just genuinely believed they would win the lottery. Like they were surprised when they didn't win.
And that delusion, that unwavering belief, is what the source calls the law of assumption. It's this absolute internal commitment that forces reality to bend to your vision, not the other way around.
So here's the critical question then. If you just assume you'll succeed, doesn't that let you off the hook for actually doing the work? How do they square those two things?
They square them immediately. They just crush that easy, fluffy idea that success just, falls out of the sky. Manifesting, they argue, is simply applying the principles of hard work, dedication, and consistency toward that so-called delusional goal.
Manifesting is work.
It is. We saw that entrepreneur who, by age 18, hit $11.1 thousand in sales. She said the moment she set that goal, she immediately had to start waking up at 4 a.m. every single day to pack the orders herself.
So hitting the goal wasn't a surprise.
Not at all. It was the inevitable, expected result of following her own meticulously planned recipe.
And the strategy for these huge plans is always about using small, manageable steps to build momentum.
Like with a Postmates drive.
Exactly. She wanted a pair of $75 shoes. That felt impossible. But instead of focusing on the big number, she just picked up one extra delivery a day.
And put that money aside.
Yep. 2 weeks later, she had the shoes. It's think big, but execute small.
It's also about the image, isn't it? The narrative you create for yourself and for others. The sources really push a fake it till you make it strategy.
Which is really just about rearranging your immediate reality to match the bigger vision.
Yeah, we read about using fake marble floors or putting fake jewelry in real designer jewelry boxes.
The idea is that the hustle, the unglamorous part, is justified because you already know the outcome is set. In the beginning, they ask you why, but in the end, they'll be asking how.
But that underlying why has to be rock solid.
That's the engine. It's the core heartbeat that keeps you going when it gets hard.
One entrepreneur said they started their channel not for money or views, but for community and love and acceptance. The moment you lose sight of that real, authentic why, the whole thing just becomes unsustainable.
And that authenticity is exactly what we saw in of all places, the tarot reading.
It was amazing how it lined up. The energy described as the emperor, someone who's achieved all this material success.
But realizes it's not enough.
Exactly. They're realizing that money is great and everything, but they want like something genuine or someone genuine to share it with.
The highest quality things are priceless. Connection, love. The 10 of Cups divine love comes up in the reading.
Signifying that this powerful person is now doing the internal work facing their shadow sign to really stand in that emperor energy. They get that just having the money alone is, well, it's no fun.
No.
And for anyone chasing those big dreams, castle, or true love, the source says the first 10,000 failures are just market research.
You just have to keep swinging. Because the formula includes persistence. Most people give up right before they would have won.
Right before.
Okay, so this next jump requires a major mental shift. We've set up how you maximize personal impact, audacious belief, plus meticulous, data-driven microplanning. So how does that scale up?
We're going from an entrepreneur's goal of $11,000 a month to how governments manage incredibly complex global systems.
This is where we get into data, strategy, and real-world friction.
And the big trend we see in the governance reports, especially championed by places like Singapore, is a shift from passive administration to active, data-driven participation.
What does that mean, active participation?
It means governments are using data to anticipate what users need before they even ask for it. They're trying to get ahead of the curve, which is, the ultimate form of efficiency.
But that shift requires massive transparency.
A huge amount. We saw a 4-fold increase in open government data portals globally between 2014 and 2020, which is great for access, but it points to a policy gap.
The infrastructure is outpacing the rules?
Exactly. The tech and data collection are moving faster than the regulation, and that creates risk.
And that risk is really intense in something like global trade, especially when you're fighting sophisticated fraud.
Oh, absolutely. Customs agencies can't just scan boxes anymore. They have to rely on complex data analysis, risk profiling to detect these incredibly sophisticated schemes.
Can you give us a concrete example of that?
Sure. Think about detecting the illegal assembly of something like olive cigarettes.
Okay.
The customs system can't just flag an olive cigarette image because that doesn't exist as one single thing until it's all put together. The challenge is detecting the intent.
How do you detect intent from data?
By tracking the flow of legitimate individual parts that are only suspicious when they're combined in a very specific pattern.
Yeah.
You have to track the whole system, not just the individual inputs.
So to handle that kind of complexity, you need all the technology to talk to each other.
You need massive interoperability. That's why the sources hammer home the need for strict open architecture standards OA.
Right.
It's a mandate that says all systems from all vendors, hardware, software, algorithms, they must speak the same language. No proprietary friction.
And the physical tech is getting smarter too.
Much smarter. The cutting edge in scanning, way beyond a standard X-ray, is computer tomography, CT technology.
Oh, so like what you'd find in a hospital.
Precisely. But scaled up for, massive cargo containers.
And why is CT so much more effective for customs?
Because it gives you greatly increased material specificity. Instead of just a flat shadow, CT scanner gives you depth and density data. It helps you see the difference between organic and inorganic materials.
So you can spot something that's been disguised.
Yes. You can identify something like cocaine that's been chemically disguised to look like, say, plastic laminate, which older systems would miss. That precision lowers false alarms, which speeds up legitimate trade while making security tighter.
That's pure impact maximization through data clarity.
Exactly.
Okay, moving from trade to legal strategy. That same need for clarity is paramount, especially when you're first reaching out to a lawyer about something serious.
Time and attention are the critical currency.
And the sources say the classic mistake people make is trying to be the lawyer.
Right, you come in citing obscure laws or regulations, you're just wasting their time. The winning approach is to focus on clear, high-impact facts in the first 20 words.
Give us an example of that kind of high-impact delivery.
Okay, the powerful one they cited was, someone used our photographs of us to sell their goods without our consent. They're earning millions of dollars a year of sales with these ads.
Wow, zero wasted time.
It's all verifiable facts showing immediate harm and, crucially, value.
And that clarity is essential because if the case doesn't settle fast, you're up against the friction of time.
A lot of time. For civil matters like, say, medical malpractice, The sources note it takes 1.5 to 2 years just to get a trial date after you file.
You have to plan for that slowness.
And this systemic friction brings us to the limits of strategy itself. Even a good tool like a SWOT analysis, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats, they call it a naive tool if it's just a static list you file away.
Because real-world strategy is incremental, it's messy.
And often non-rational. It has to be a dynamic management process that you're updating constantly.
This gets to that bigger idea of irreducible chaos or computational irreducibility.
Right. Sometimes there's no shortcut. There's no predictive algorithm that can tell you the outcome of a complex system.
The only way to know is to do it.
The most efficient way to know the outcome is to just run the process. The execution is the shortest path to the answer.
So we see that duality again. Whether you're chasing a personal dream or designing a government system, you need the audacious commitment and the meticulous data. But you also have to accept that the real world is just inherently irreducibly chaotic.
Well said.
All right, let's pivot to connection and status. If value is the ultimate goal, what do people actually value? We have this incredible contrast between
The almighty janitor trope versus the influencer trap.
Exactly. The janitor trope symbolizes essential competence, hidden power over official rank.
The janitor, or the building maintenance pro, they hold the ultimate institutional knowledge because they see the whole system from the ground up, completely unfiltered.
And this is backed up by, of all things, linguistics.
Yeah, it's beautiful. The Finnish word for janitor literally translates to man of the house. The non-essential title hides the essential competence.
That's authentic value. Now contrast that with the modern digital hierarchy,
where status is built entirely on visibility, on performance.
Festivals become the influencer Olympics, where your follower count literally determines your level of access.
And the fallout from that is that performance is prioritized over reality. We saw the chaos at the Revolve Festival.
A total mess.
A total mess. But influencers felt they had to lie about how bad it was, post positive things to protect their status so they wouldn't get blacklisted by the brand.
The manufactured status compromises honesty, creates friction with what's actually happening.
And that drive for visibility can create real danger too. The sources link the push for engagement and things like the TikTok blackout challenge to, real-world tragedies and deaths.
The social influence just outweighs common sense.
Turning to attraction, sources really challenge that old Henry Kissinger quote that power is the ultimate aphrodisiac.
They argue it's not power, it's something else.
It's intellectual signals, that they're actually far more important for long-term survival and partnership than just physical signals.
Why intellectual signals? What are they broadcasting?
A functional, healthy mind. The ability to solve tricky problems. To anticipate friction, to secure resources. That's why we have the modern term sapiosexual.
Someone whose primary attraction is to intelligence.
Exactly. But for a lasting partnership, that intelligence has to be paired with, foundational things like kindness and dependability.
And the opposite of attraction, the ultimate deterrent,
is neediness.
Just a desperate need for approval. It pushes people away instantly.
The strategy the sources endorse is what they call warm confidence.
Okay, what is that?
It's the ability to make other people feel good around you, while, at the same time, showing through your actions and principles that you don't actually need anything from them in return.
So the mindset is, I like you, but I don't need you.
That's it. That balance psychologically signals strength and high self-worth. It commands respect.
And that concept plays directly into how scams and toxic relationships work, especially when money's involved.
Yes, looking at the sugar economy. While some women report earning, up to $15,000 or $20,000 a month, the image maintenance,
the cosmetic procedures, the designer clothes,
is seen as a necessary, high-stakes investment because the competition is so intense. But the core problem is always the uncertainty of motivation. Is this love, or is it money?
And the sources give a terrifyingly clear formula for how scammers, like that Danish con man they describe, operate.
It's a system. They start by mirroring your interests, then they test boundaries really early.
Like asking for a passport before a phone number.
A huge red flag.
Yeah.
And then they create emotional and financial dependency.
But the truly insidious part of the system is the small financial payouts.
Exactly. They use these small payouts, like that $9,000 transfer back, just to keep the victim engaged in the game.
It's like a casino.
It's precisely like a casino slot machine. You get a little reward to keep you playing, which creates cognitive dissonance. The system is designed for maximum engagement and extraction.
Okay, finally, we have to talk about managing the emotional conflict that comes with this. High ambition, high stakes. And it turns out anxiety isn't necessarily a weakness.
No, it can be systematized, used as a superpower.
How so?
The CIA actively recruits people with high anxiety because they are naturally more attentive, more suspicious, more observant. The key is to train them in recovery techniques to stop the negative spiral. You're basically channeling that high alert state into something useful.
They also use a spy tactic called stress inoculation,
which is very similar to exposure therapy.
So you intentionally seek out high-stress moments, but in a safe environment.
Right, like asking a trusted friend to pretend to harshly reject you. It prepares your mind for real high-pressure situations so you don't freeze up under fire. It's systematic emotional prep for chaos.
And that emotional control extends to conflict, specifically dealing with bullies.
Bullies operate on reinforcement. They thrive on your visible reaction, your anger, your pain, what the sources call the blood.
So the strategy is to cut off their oxygen supply.
Exactly. For smart people, the strategy is silence, complete indifference, and removing yourself from their game entirely. They can't monetize your reaction if you give them nothing.
So synthesizing all this incredible contrast, we've seen that maximizing impact, whether you're manifesting a dream home or securing a global trade route.
Or handling a high-stakes legal case.
It requires the marriage of two things: an audacious, almost delusional belief in the possibility,
and meticulous, cold, data-driven, systematic planning for the execution.
That's the whole essence of the stack. Success isn't magic. It's a predictable outcome of systemizing your efforts and defining your reality through intentional, repeated action.
The most successful people we looked at, from the entrepreneur who went through 10,000 failures to the lawyer who leads with facts, they succeeded not by ignoring complexity, but by developing a systematic formula to address it.
The persistence to take 10,000 swings, the clarity to deliver high-impact facts,
and the ability to consistently tell the difference between authentic competence and just manufactured status.
So what does all this mean for you, the learner? Throughout this deep dive, we've seen this friction between reality and performance, between hidden competence and visible status. Consider the debate around local rent control laws. The sources show that 93% of economists agree that a ceiling on rents reduces both the quality and the quantity of available housing. That level of agreement is almost unheard of on a policy issue.
And yet, it's still an incredibly popular policy choice.
It is. So, given that the data is so clear, what areas of your life or work are currently driven by easily visible but ultimately flawed feel-good strategies, rather than the hard, counterintuitive data? Where are you choosing the palatable lie over the complex truth? Think about that.